All right, so this is a trade recap for Tuesday, 12th of May, and this is a classic dynamic money management trade. So I did my analysis. If you're in my Discord, you know how we do our analysis. But for this particular trade, our setup was a great score for up. If we broke out of the range to the top, the trades it would have been a a B trade, and if we broke out to the downside, it would have also been a B trade. Okay, but if you want to understand how we grade this, you'll have to join the Discord and get the full training. So what we do here, basically, we take the first 15 minutes of the New York session. You can see that is 9:30 a.m. New York time. So the first three candles is the 15-minute opening range, right? So we take the low of the opening range and the high of the opening range and we project that forward. So that's how we arrive at these lines, okay? And what we're looking for is the first momentum push out of the range. So we saw this candle broke the bottom of the range and closed here, and we entered the next enter the trade right here. Now, how do I achieve my position sizing? All right, I have based on our strategy, we have a way of deriving this. We do not use the same TP distance every single time. It's depending on some factors that we look at from the overnight session into the morning, into the opening range of the New York market. So you can also learn how we arrive at um, this TP distance, for every trade. If you check all my trades, I don't have a single fixed TP distance of saying, okay, measure this and then target 2 to 1 or 1 to 2, 1 to 3, or something like that. No, we use a dynamic stop loss and we also use a dynamic TP. Now, for this particular trade, my stop loss was not going to be required because we're using a B grade. A B setup means we're going to apply dynamic money management and we are going to DCA if the trade goes against us. So, which is exactly what happened in this trade. So, we had the trade actually almost came to the the TP. You can see that this candle, when we entered here, it almost came to hit the TP. This was the TP right here. Can you see it almost hit that, but it reversed. So maybe if your TP was a little bit higher, sometimes I do that, just put like 1 to 2 ticks higher, maybe it would have touched it, but it didn't. So it went back against me, and you see my normal stop loss distance was somewhere 41, right? Somewhere here. And I would have been taken out at this point if I was using a 1 to 1. But I do not use a fixed stop loss for my B setups. What I use is an invalidation zone, meaning if price comes all the way up here against the previous significant high, that's going to be, you know, an invalidation because I expect that price will continue in this direction just because of the way I have graded the setup. So what do I do in this instance? I simply wait for the price to get back to the 21 EMA according to my strategy, okay? And then once it does something like this, at the end of once this candle closes above the 21 or maybe on it or around it, I enter a DCA trade. So, if you entered here, that actually would have been better, but I entered right here. Again, I'm trading as I'm working, I'm on site, managing a construction project. So I'm doing all this on my phone during my very busy schedule. All right. So what I've done, so I entered here with 1 hour. Now, I do not like to talk about percentage or maybe dollar values because your risk depends on your own appetite, your risk profile, and your personality. Okay, so I enter my trade with 1 hour, and that 1 hour is this distance. The TP distance of my 41.2 is what I use to calculate my risk. So for you, 41.2 points may be 1%. Maybe you are going for 1% for the day, or you are risking 1%. Or if it's 2% for you, all well and good. For me, it was 2% for yesterday's trade, but I'm just using R as a risk measure. So I entered 2% on this trade, and then it went against me all the way up here, and then I entered with 2R on the DCA, the dollar cost average trade. So 2R means if my R is 2%, 2R means I entered with a 4% additional trade here, and we can see again my stop loss is, I don't use a stop loss, I use an invalidation zone, which was up here. I use an invalidation zone, right, which was up there. So let me coordinate this. So you can see what price did. So even if price had come all the way up here, I will still be in the trade waiting. Okay, I'm probably enter a third one at this 200 SMA moving average right here, or at the top of the range. Okay, so price eventually turned around. My DCA trade, also came here. So I eventually took out my profit at the same initial TP distance. Again, just because I was busy, I couldn't really wait to manage this trade. But you can see if I had held, this could have been an extremely, extremely profitable trade here. So I ended up making this 2R. So this was 2%. So imagine this particular trade is 2.5 risk to reward. So 2.5 risk to reward on a 4%. Um, no, that's going to be. I ended up making about 7 to 8% yesterday. So this was 2%, and this one was about 4.5 or 5%. If I calculate the risk to reward, that is 2.5 times the risk. Okay, which is about 2. Okay, or 2R. Yeah. So I made about 7% there about yesterday, which was very good. I actually posted it in my Discord where I log all my trades. So this was yesterday's trade. You can see I posted, I was, let's get this out of the way. I was on construction site today. I couldn't run the commentary, but it was a nice 3.7R win. All right. I'll do a recap later tonight. So you can see the trade I just showed you on trading view. This was my view, doing this on my phone. I annotate it so that I can go back and explain the recap to you guys. But you can see my actual execution on MetaTrader 5 on my personal live account. So that was the first trade, went against me, and I entered right here and I exited right here. Okay, and I also said that when you are doing your DCA trade, that's actually that's the most scary part because you don't know if it will keep going up. Okay, but that's actually when you get your reward as well. All right, so that's all for the trade. If you'd like to learn how to trade this way, click the link in the description, join my Discord group, my Telegram group, so you can learn, and follow me as I trade this, on a daily basis. I put my trade recaps on the group every single day as I trade, all right? And you can see and follow and do this. Imagine if you're making an extra 1% per day, just being conservative, okay, just on your trade. this has a very, very high percentage win rate, and that's how we build wealth with trading. All right, so thanks for watching this video. As I said, you can like, subscribe if you're just new to this channel, share this with someone, but more importantly, if you're looking to build wealth with trading in a safe, consistent manner, click the link in the description to join us. See you on the next one.